Hello, everybody. I'm welcoming you here to the IBSEA event. Thank you, Neumann, for organizing everything here. It's fantastic as you do. Also, welcome to all of the sponsors, the hosts, and the members of the IBSEA. I'm going to talk later a bit more about what we do here at Citizen Lane of my company. And I just want to say that we want to help your members to build bridge to help you to land in Europe with your businesses. And we are supporting you on the way to get there. Also, I'm going to lose a few words about sustainable investments later. Hello, everybody. I welcome you to my presentation. I'm Neumann from Citizen Lane. We are a consulting agency in Europe, which accompanies entrepreneurs to invest in Europe. So we are helping them with the immigration process, the company setup process, and the bank account opening and other services. Today, we are here to celebrate the vision of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, India 2047. And we have a lot of work to do here. We all want a better India. I'm here to help bridges and transfer technology. So a few words about the company. So we started in 2015 and have nowadays offices in Malta, in Germany, in Austria, and in Mumbai as well, since for the last 3 years now. We focus on business immigration, as I already said, and we also help with golden visas, as well as the other topics I already mentioned before, to build bridges for Indian businesses to come to Europe. We're living in a volatile world, and there is a lot of cooperation needed between the countries of this world. We are living in a society on a planet where we have big problems to tackle. I'm talking here about the climate emergency, and I'm saying emergency because for everybody who does not understand that it is an emergency, it needs to be said that it's an emergency. The turnaround in the greenhouse gas pollution has not yet been achieved. We are still putting more CO2 out every year. The methane emissions are even more dramatically rising, and these topics are part of my mission, why I run this company. So we are focusing a lot on sustainable investments and try to bring new technology to India, and also to invest the money for our clients which wish to invest in golden visas into sustainable projects. India, as you know, is the biggest developing economy, even though that the economy in India right now might not be as good as some of you might think. Nevertheless, India is the biggest economy worldwide, with growth numbers well over 5%. There is a lot of growth which can be done not just in the tier 1 cities, but especially in rural areas, tier 2 cities, tier 3 cities, and the rural area. So I'm not at all concerned about the economic growth in India. This will go on, but needs to shift. And also in India, we have a lot of topics to tackle, especially in the natural environment. Here in Delhi, we have seen it, we smell it, the air. It is a bit better than a month ago today, but I still think we have to do a lot on this front. There are topics of waste management, which we try to tackle with our team, why we bring new technologies to India. But for now, I just go on the next slide. Our company is building bridges to Europe, as I already said. So we work together with investors and help them to set up their companies in Europe. So this means everything from the first contact, from where do I set up my company, to where are the best taxes, where do I have the lowest expenses on corporate taxes, social contributions, where do I get better funding, where is the better market to go, which is the easier market to go. So we consult our clients on that side and help them to take the necessary steps in Europe. One of our core parts of the business is also golden visas, because golden visas are an easy entryway, especially for businessmen who cannot afford to completely relocate to Europe. Because one of the regulatory problems is that when you do a business in Europe, you can apply for a work permit, are required to spend all the time there. Not all the time, but at least half a year to become a permanent resident. Only then you can keep a permit. But for many entrepreneurs, that is barely possible, because they have to run and manage their companies in India. They have family in India and do not plan to relocate. So for these entrepreneurs who do not have sufficient time or cannot shift the whole family to Europe and plan to shift the family to Europe, golden visas are a good pathway which enable easy travel to Europe, because one gets a permanent residence permit and can at the same time invest money. And our focus is to bring our clients sustainable investments and investments which bring a return. I'm just mentioning a few options here, so I will not go too much into the details of everything, but just as a teaser. So when you are interested in anything, you can always come later to me and we can discuss. But just to give you some ideas, what are the possibilities, I will just continue. Why do we need golden visas? I said to enable frequent travel, to have an EU presence without fully relocating, to have access due to the travel itself. So you can meet people at universities, technology centers, events like these in Europe as well, and connect, because we all need to connect with people, because we need to work together on the issues of the day. Since we are advisors on the topic, we can also help with the corporate structuring, and also it is important to diversify location. India is, of course, an amazing country, which I love, but also diversification is necessary for every portfolio and for every business to be resilient in the future. Next one. So we have a couple of interesting golden visa options. The preferred one I work with is Portugal. The good reason here is that we invest in investment funds. About half of the investment funds we work with do invest in sustainable projects, in solar power plants, in blue economy, in wind parks, in large battery facilities to offer grid balancing services, because as you might know, the energy grid gets a bit more volatile with the predictable supply of energy through the renewable energies. The wind and the sun energy are more or less predictable, but only for a couple of hours in advance. So there needs to be buffering, and big battery projects help to balance the grid, and that instantly, and gives more grid stability. So in Italy, we work with startup investments and ordinary business investments. The minimum investment amounts here are 250,000 euros, so roughly 2.5 CR/INR. In Portugal, the minimum investment in the investment funds would be 500,000 euros, so roughly 5 CR/INR. In Greece, there is an attractive option for those who seek rather real estate investment, because Greece allows to get a golden visa through a real estate investment in one or two properties. Minimum investment is here 300,000 euros, roughly 3 CR/INR. In Greece, the minimum investment is 300,000. In Malta, it is also a real estate option. Minimum investment here is 3.75 CR/INR. And Malta is, for those who don't know it, a small island state where I am living myself. I relocated my company there, started the company in Switzerland, and nowadays we have the biggest part in Malta. One of the reasons is that we only pay 5% income tax on the corporate income there, which is as low as nowhere. Above that, it's also sunny and by the sea, and I enjoy that as well. I mentioned it already. Portugal, we work mainly with investment funds, because here we have the opportunity to bring money to good work, because I'm a student of history, I'm a student of economics, I'm a student of language. I traveled the world until I was 25. I've been on every continent when I was 25 already. So I understand how the world works, and at least a part of it. We need to see that we can work together more. And as I already said, the climate change is an important topic. In Portugal, we have the option to make this system and we are living in, which is called capitalism. We can use it and put this money, what we invest, to good work, because it is possible to do good investments, have a benefit for everybody else, for the planet, and also for the own pocket. It just needs to be properly planned and done, and someone needs to offer you these options, and that's what we are doing. So that's why we are working with Portuguese investment funds. Some of the investment funds we work with have returns in the two-digit numbers. Some of them, the climate-related funds, typically around 10%. And to bump up the portfolio, we work with some investment funds which have even much higher returns, even in the 20s of percents, 20 to 2022 in the past. Historic values, which is incredibly a lot, but these are proper funds. Even institutional investors are investing there as well. So they are very much experienced. Next, please. Climate-related funds and investment. I mentioned it already a lot, and I will mention it even more because that is one of the parts why we are today here. Dr. Anshuman Singh and I, we share a vision, and we all know that we have to do much more on this front on the climate. So we're not just talking about it, but we are doing it. And there is a lot of climate-related investment needed everywhere in India and in Europe. An advantage in Europe is that there is the EU Green Deal. You might might have heard about it, which is one of the biggest government investment packages ever, the biggest one in Europe. Not as big, of course, as maybe the Belt and Road Initiative of China, but 1 trillion euros is a lot of money. And this money is partly co-financed into projects, and we can assist businesses who are working on projects in the environmental sphere to get co-funding from the EU if they do their business in Europe. I mentioned part of these topics here already. Important to note is that in the beginning, we're not yet there with the climate change, right? Mm-hmm. We have a lot of work to do. We still produce every year more CO2. We have made certain progress. The predictions for 2100 with temperature rise were at some point above 4 degrees, and now we're somewhat around 2.5 degrees, and this is still way too much. And this change is not coming fast enough, and a lot can be done by technology which is already here, which is already there, which is at least working partly on paper and just needs to be realized. And for these kind of projects, we are also trying to find funding. So how can you take action? So you can take action, of course, by investing in a Portuguese investment fund and put your money to good work. You can get a golden visa to start traveling to Europe, not just for pleasure, but also do business, do green business. And you can also work with one of the venture capital funds we are working with. So we also help bigger investors to place money to good work. We have a lot of other projects, even in the healthcare sphere. I just want to mention 2 projects we are currently working on. One is a project in the sphere of clean water, which is a German company, which is already established. They have clients. It's a technology provider, which have developed would call it a tool, something what is put in the water pipe, and it is cleaning the water through centrifugal forces and is basically destroying bacteria and viruses from the inside out through the pressure. The technology is being used by reputable companies like Mercedes-Benz, Volkswagen, DLR, German Aerospace, Rolls-Royce, Airport Munich, and many other companies. So the list of clients is over 1,000 clients. It's a 10-year-old technology, and we are helping that company to enter the Indian market. Another project what we're working on is in the field of steam reforming, rather hydrolysis, and which is also a very long proven technology. But like with many technologies, the main problem is energy efficiency. We are not just having technology which is working, but we need to make it work also financially, which is one of the biggest troubles or problems we need to solve. But technological problems can be solved, and there are many people working on that. There's one company we work with where we are currently raising funds to realize a new project, and we need roughly about 12 million. The first 6 million are already secured. These are the projects we're working on. Yeah, and last but not least, what can you do? You have to take action, and you have to go out, talk to people, and make your own decisions, and just consider that your decisions have consequences every day, and may that be the bottle you throw in the trash can or you do not put to recycling, or may that be the water tap you just let running all the time, or you invest just your money in a good purpose and earn money and do something good, and not just maybe, we will do it by 2047.